All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. We got some more left tackles to get through here, and then we are moving on. This is going to be the end. Just three more guys to get through here. Not going to take terribly long. Not going to spend a ton of time here. These are guys kind of at the end, or at the very least, kind of the back half of the day three range. Not going to be a lot here. Diego Pounds is our first guy here. Ole Miss, 23. He's got pretty good size. He's got decent arm length. It's not great, but it works. And physically, at least, he seems like he belongs at the NFL level, at least. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. But pretty athletic, especially because he is a little bit of a bigger guy. He jumped well. His 40 is okay. So kind of cuts the mustard on a very basic level. And the big boards all over the place. Walter really likes him, but Walter, we know their big board's a little bit older. Aggregate puts him in the 5th. So actually kind of in the earlier part of day 3 when you really think about it. But not graded well in his career. In fact, last year his run block grade was bad. And he did allow quite a bit as a pass protector in his career, although he did cut down on the penalties a lot in 2025 for Ole Miss. So we got that going for us. So he's got adequate tackle length, which is nice. He can physically, on a physical level, play tackle. 1 second here. Okay. His grip strength allows him to sustain reps pretty well. He's got legitimate ability to latch on without getting penalized for it. And that's going to be really important, I think. He does a good job remaining in phase against twists. So if you throw more elaborate and exotic defenses at him, he's going to do a fairly good job of keeping up. Heavy punches. He does hit hard with his punches, and he hits with force into initial contact. So he does have some displacement ability. He's not really a good run blocker, though. Not really going to be effective as a run blocker. And he plays a little too high and is high cut. So that's going to be hard for him to overcome. Speedier outside rushers will beat him to the corner. So not going to be great there. He gets a little out of control moving around. There is a little bit of that going on here where if you put him in space, he will lose balance. He will kind of get out in front of himself. And he really wasn't even that good at Ole Miss. Like, the PFF grades are downright mediocre. So you have to be a little bit concerned about what he's going to do at the next level. It's not like he's 20 years old. So forgettable. The thing that's kind of nice with Pounds, I guess, is that he has the measurements and physical attributes of a tackle. So you can feel pretty confident that he can at least try in those places. So 5th round, yeah. 5th round's about right. I think I agree with where the aggregate is. All right, so that is our first guy. Let's get to our second guy of the video. Travis Burke of Memphis, and now we're all the way down to the late 7th. We've gotten all the way down to kind of the back end here pretty quickly with Travis Burke of Memphis. He's very, very tall. So tall that we may have a problem here, but at least that makes it easy on understanding where he's going to play if he plays anywhere. He's almost 6'9". 325 pounds, so he is heavy. And he does have longish arms, decently long arms, so he can at least handle tackle stuff nominally. And he's also got decently sized hands. He didn't test terribly well, but he is a bigger guy, so it's not unexpected, and it wasn't terrible. There is some good stuff here. He's not a bad athlete for how big he is. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. Okay, so the only big board that has him getting drafted is CBS that I use, and the aggregate, like I said, back end of the 7th. Graded quite well on PFF last year, so he's got that going for him, but kind of leaky when it comes to allowing stuff in pass protection, and also a lot of penalties. So the nice things about Burke, he's got some genuine power and can generate push in the run game. So even though he's a taller guy, he knows how to kind of get low and still drive guys out of the hole. He extends his arms out in full to engage, so he understands how to maximize his length, so it is legitimate tackle stuff. He does play with leverage. He does understand that he's going to have to get low or else he's going to get demolished. And he finishes plays well. He fights until the whistle blows. So there is some really good stuff going on here with Burke. But at the end of the day, there are too many limitations to get all that excited here. Even though he's a decent athlete, given how big he is, he's so oddly built that you put him in space, it's going to be a little bit of a trial. He's not going to be that quick. He's definitely going to stumble around. He's heavy-footed. It's not going to be great if you put him in space. He's a little bit tardy off the snap. He's one of the last guys with his hand out of the ground on most snaps. And he's not the most cerebral lineman yet when understanding games up front. So the height makes him stand out a bit. But you look at the play, and he was kind of leaky in pass protection even last year. And he can't play in space. So you're getting kind of a... Number one, this guy may have to move to right tackle, which is fine. But you're getting somebody who's kind of narrow in his use case, because if he doesn't work out at right tackle, there's not much he can do. You're not going to get into guard at this height in all likelihood. So 7th round project, I would say. Take him in the 7th, you'll be okay. You'll probably be pretty happy with what you get, but that's because you're not going to get much. And one final guy for this video, we're going to go with Carver Willis of Washington, the last left tackle on the aggregate with a grade in the top 250 or 260 or whatever. So 24, he is kind of small. He's short, which is not bad, but he's also barely 300 pounds. Not crippling, but you wouldn't call him big. A lot of the guys we've talked about so far have been bigger. His arms are also very short, so we've got a problem. Small hands. Didn't test well, given the fact that he's small. The 40 is okay, but everything else is bad. CBS adores him. I don't know why. They have him in the 3rd. PFF has him way outside the draftable grade, and the aggregate has him just barely hanging on at the back of the 7th. He was graded well last year, but he allowed a lot in pass protection. 22 pressures. Year before that, it was 24. So very leaky, and a good amount of penalties as well. So he knows how, he understands hand placement. He understands how to engage with his hands. And he moves okay when in space. He's not a great athlete, but he's comfortable in space. And his basic fundamentals are pretty solid. He's got a firm grip. So there are some nice things here, but man, so many issues, right? He might be too small. I don't know. I mean, I'm not just talking about the arms either. 303 pounds. Maybe he can add some weight, but he probably needs to. So this is a little bit tight right now. The short arms might force him to slide inside. So you've got to think about that. He doesn't really have a super strong anchor. Power players can push him around, so how is he going to slide inside? How does that work? If you're going to be on the interior, you got to be able to handle strength. He plays standing straight up, so even though he's short, he still loses leverage a lot. And he's very leaky with his pass protection. The one caveat is that last year he was protecting Devin Williams, who's a scrambling quarterback. He's going to get pressured more, but even with that, I mean, he's not the only offensive lineman out there protecting a mobile quarterback. So I don't really see much here. He's good on a basic fundamental level, but most offensive linemen are. There are exceptions, but I don't think that's really enough to get excited about, so I'd wait until UDFA and then see what's up. I think he's a UDFA caliber offensive lineman at the end of the day. All right, that'll do it for the left tackles. We're going to move on to left guard tomorrow. Again, the positions are just kind of how I group them. They're not necessarily reflective of where they will end up. So just because they're left guards in college doesn't mean they will be in the NFL. So definitely check it out. Definitely tune in. See you guys. Unless something big happens later today, that'll do it. And go Hawks.